Yeah, I just can't do it. I don't think any adult male should ever wear jean shorts.
I agree.
I can't do it. I don't.
Why, you do want to wear jean shorts?
No, I have no interest in it, but I can't. I don't like seeing adult males wear jean shorts anymore. I'm sorry, it's just me. I can't do it. And same thing with Crocs. Crocs on kids is great because they're like basically slippers. But if I'm a 42-year-old man, which I am not putting a Croc on my foot.
Yeah. I never had a Croc.
I haven't either. Yeah. But they're great for kids because they get dirty. You can wash them off. They hose them off, and they're also like 3 years old and 6 years old. But a 42-year-old man should not be walking around in Crocs. I'm sorry. Jean shorts and Crocs are no go. Anyways, back to what we were here for. Zapp Comics Radio Podcast. So sorry, a little hiatus. A little busy. We had ZappCon, and pretty much everybody in my family and the whole world was sick for some reason. I might cough a few times here because I still have this lingering cough. Johnny over there is a doctor, and he still doesn't help me, so I don't know what that means. But anyways, yeah, so just Johnny tonight. Joe Watt is sick, so he's not with us. I missed the big guy already. He wears shorts.
Yes, all those, shorts, yes.
And they are...
multicolored ones.
Yes, and it's very easy on the eyes. Joe, we miss you, buddy. So anyways, Free Comic Day is coming up. Prepping for it. The books are coming in, getting them ready. At our store, Zapp, obviously we do a one-day sale. A lot of the stores don't do sales, but they do some type of special event. I know we had done a podcast like 4 years ago, I think, on Free Comic Day, but I wanted to kind of touch up on it a little bit. Whether you go to Zapp Comics or any other comic book store, keep in mind that even though it is Free Comic Book Day, the comics are not free. Mm-hmm. We pay for them. All the other stores pay for them. And it's not cheap. I mean, I feel bad for like a little store that's like, okay, this is Free Comic Book Day. It's going to be and it is our busiest day of the year. It's pretty much everybody's busiest day of the year, unless you have a major signing or a guest. Even some of these big releases don't bring in this many people. So this is the busiest. This is the Black Friday for comic book shops. A lot of money gets put into this. And you need extra staff. You need preparations, signage, everything, balloons, whatever you want to call it. Don't just go in there and take 20 copies of, like one of each book that's there and walk out. Now, I'm not saying you need to spend money anywhere. You don't. But keep in mind that if a coffee shop has Free Coffee Day, it's National Donut Day, they still pay for these donuts just because they're free. If you have to go to Dunkin' Donuts or whatever on Free Coffee Day to get a coffee, just buy a donut, or you know what, leave $2 in the tip jar. Just, because I see people go in there with like, because Dunkin' Donuts right next to us, they go in there, they come out with like 8 free coffees. And I'm like, really? Just, really? Order a sandwich. And I'm saying, I get a lot of guys that go, listen, we want to support you, and they just buy a new book. Corey, I only buy DC. I want to buy a Marvel book. I don't read Marvel. What's good? This one here, it's a $4 book, and they leave. They just want to support us, and they get the free stuff. So, again, and Free Comic Day's changed a lot. Really? This is the 12th, 13th year, or something like that. I remember the first one I did when I was there, it was just me and Ben working. We opened up at like 10 on a Saturday. It was like 9:30, and he came in with the free books. And I literally put them on the case in front of me. We had like 10 or 15 people come in and grab stuff, and they left, and it was like nothing. I'm like, really? And then within a few years, it went from that to like this massive thing. It kind of reminds me of like New York Comic Con, how much that's changed. The first few were just like a regular con, and all of a sudden, like overnight, it became huge. And so just a friendly reminder, the cool thing about the stores, our store, and I'm sure everybody else's store, is that it's like a clubhouse. Mm-hmm. That's why Wednesdays are so fun. I mean, Johnny, you've been coming every Wednesday unless you've been away for the past like 20 years. I don't know if you remember, but comic books used to be Fridays. I
was kind of out of it. Like when I used to go when I was a kid. I go on Saturdays, so I didn't know when it was. And even when in college, I would just go when I could.
New Book Day was Fridays. Mm-hmm. I think they got them on Thursdays, and they could put them on Thursdays. It all depended on when they got them and then when they were able to process them. But the store I went to, it's no longer there. R&R Cards and Comics in Whitman, Massachusetts. Was my first shop. They got them and they put them on Fridays. And Fridays was great because I had a paper route and I also would cut grass.
A paper route?
Paper route, yes. And I had my money. I got paid on Fridays when they get the books. And then they changed it to Wednesday. And I'm like, Wednesday? I can't do this, especially when I had school. Wednesdays are a pain. But now I realize, obviously, on this end, why it's Wednesday. Because when it was Friday, Saturdays and Sundays are usually busy anyways for a store.
Mm-hmm.
And Fridays, it's payday, people come in. But that was it. So you'd have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It would be pretty quiet. So now when you get the books out on Wednesday is actually your busiest day of the week. Thursdays are okay. Friday is pretty decent. And Saturdays is very busy. So there was something new there pretty much every day except for like maybe Monday and Tuesday. Mm-hmm. Which is fine. A lot of stores are closed on either Monday or Tuesday. And Tuesday's obviously prep day. They get the books ready. So, but as far as Wednesdays go, I mean, you see it, Johnny. You come in pretty much the same time every Wednesday, and you see the same people.
Yep, usually, yep. They're there, and, they come for the books, and, some are there, come in, say hi, do their things, and some are there, and they stick around, and...
Yeah, and you talk.
You
talk, and most times you don't talk about comics.
No.
It's usually... Let's see what happens in our store. It's usually some of the music that's being played. That's usually my topic. Or music I don't like.
Especially when Ruben used to be there.
Yeah, I love me some Ruben. But and also like the music. A lot of times it's like, they somehow turn a food conversation against me, which I never understood why people are so concerned with what I do not eat.
It's fun.
Listen, I'm sure it's fun, but I don't understand it. They act like I am not eating something they prepared for me. You know what I mean? They get like it bothers them. Why would it bother you if I eat something or not? It doesn't matter. Because I don't care if you eat something.
I understand because it's so limited.
So what?
But that's why. Because most people eat at least a lot of different things, and yours is a very limited palate, so they find it interesting.
But the thing is, though, I'll just be minding my own business, and somebody will say ketchup, and they're like, guess who doesn't eat ketchup? Corey doesn't. I'm like, why not? And the next thing you know, I have to list off all the stuff I don't eat. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It is. Well, you're an interesting person, so they find it interesting.
Whatever. But, so that's conversations on a Wednesday, is what I don't eat. Especially if Nick, Rusty is there. He loves saying it in front of the people. So it's what I don't eat. The music that is being played, some type of wrestling conversation somewhere in the building.
Well, Craig's there.
Craig's, I love me some Craig. So he's always talking about wrestling. And, they'll talk about Gundams or,
anime
or manga. Oh, speaking of Gundams, I have to give a shout out. Josh Kulik, one of my favorite customers. I think one of all of our favorite customers who comes in. He's not always a Wednesday guy because of his work schedule and stuff like that. But Josh Kulik listens to every one of these podcasts. And he always tells me he usually listens to them as he's building his Gundams. So Josh Kulik, if you are listening right now building a Gundam, thank you. I want to say hello. And, I appreciate everything. He's a good guy. And Josh is a very thoughtful person, too. So, and Josh understands what I eat and what I don't eat. And there's been multiple times where he's come from Chipotle and just brought me a bag of chips from Chipotle because he knows I love the chips. Yep. He's done that on more than one occasion without even asking. So I do appreciate that, Josh. Thank you very, very much. So to go back to, now I got Josh on the mind. To go back to other conversations we have.
It's always movie stuff.
It's movie stuff, like the new trailer. It's not really usually comic book stuff unless it's controversial. Or like what's hot. Like why is this book hot? Is this real hot, being hot or is it speculative hot? Because in the morning, it's usually like the hot stuff. Because somebody will post something and somebody comes running in to get it. And usually have to limit like one per customer or whatever, or make sure that everybody gets one. Because somebody posted something the day before that it's going to be hot. There's a lot of, I don't want to call it like artificial heat right now. Obviously, there's always going to be speculators in every aspect of a collectible area. But there's some stuff that's truth. Like people like, oh, I think the villain is going to be this. And that stuff really starts to rumble. Even though it's not confirmed because everybody wants to make sure, like, listen, if I buy this now for $50, when they officially do announce it, it might go up to $200. I get it. But you go scrambling, a lot of times it's like, what's the true first appearance? Or this character has been around for 3 different types of revivals. Yeah. So which one is it? Which Venom is it? Which whoever, like that has had more than one, alter ego.
Yeah.
So that happens a lot. it does make it. It's hard to keep up with it because the people that come in the store sometimes know before we do because they're just browsing and looking at all the pages they go to or the sites.
Well, all the
whatever,
rumors and stuff, and
I don't have time for that.
then
I
it
don't
goes.
have time for it. I just I don't so, and there's the groups that they chat back and forth. So basically, a comic book store on a busy Wednesday is basically like one big chat room. You just BSing about everything, and a lot of times it's not comics. Sports comes up a lot.
Oh yeah.
Especially I'm a Boston guy, so Patriot, Red Sox stuff, with Yankees, Giants, whatever it is, that comes up quite a bit. There's never any bad conversation. There's never any heated conversations. It's always very friendly.
Yeah, usually. I mean,
you can get opinionated and get riled up, which I do get riled up.
a little bit.
I do. I don't get mad at people. I get mad at things. So Johnny's seen that, especially at the end of the day on a Wednesday. I'm tired. I'm hungry. Usually, me. I don't like to stop to eat. So I've been there for 12, 13, 14 hours sometimes, and I'm a little cranky.
A little bit. Well, the one the one is the thing that was against the thing. We were there after it was closed, and Corey was bringing the cash box from the back.
Yeah.
And it was usually you have to hold it. You can't hold it by the handle.
You gotta understand our till cash box, if you will. It's not even real metal. It has rolls and rolls of quarters and dimes and whatever, plus other loose change, and it's heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you get kind of you just pick it up by the handle, okay? And you kind of have to hold the bottom too. You got to hold it like a football.
Yes.
Okay, I was holding it like a
lunchbox.
A lunchbox. There you go. And it opened up. So everything came out. Everything fell out. All the change went everywhere, and that set me off.
And then you, what did you do to the cash box?
I took a deep breath. I put everything neatly back in.
Yeah, I don't believe that's what happened. I believe you kicked it.
I kicked it.
You punted it.
I did punt it. Deservedly so. I did punch it. So I tend to get mad at things. I get mad at computers. I get mad when a phone doesn't work. I get minor road rage when the car, or I don't really get mad at people or situations. I get mad at things. When they don't work, it's frustrating. When randomly the Wi-Fi doesn't work. It's just annoying. Why it didn't work? That stuff bothers me. It irritates me when something's supposed to, or it's super hot, and all of a sudden you go to use the AC, which you use every single day. Yesterday it worked just fine. I go to put it on, and I'm not working today, and it's the hottest day of the year. So that's the stuff that frustrates me. Other than that, I'm pretty fine. So and everybody who comes on Wednesdays are cool. Wednesdays and Saturdays are very similar. You get a lot of the same people. The other days, it's kind of people in and out. But those days, it's almost like who's here. And if somebody who comes in early all the time, when they come in later in the day, it kind of throws you off. Because you're you don't see them at that time. So it's weird. I'm we always joke sometimes someone who comes in at night will be off that week. And they'll come in at lunch. And I'm like, I don't think I've ever seen you in the daylight. This is weird. Because now in my body, it's telling me it's 7 o'clock at night. When it's really noon. So that stuff is weird. Sometimes you come in on a Wednesday morning. It's weird.
Yeah.
You're always a late Wednesday night guy, early Saturday. That's how you always been. Used to be a Friday guy before.
Oh, yeah, it's the Friday. Or it used to be long stretches of Saturday, the whole day.
But, then you have a family and it changes.
Well, yes, things changes and, you have family and things to do and stuff. But, well, that's the thing. When I was there, you see those same people and you see, who's coming in and the same crew and stuff like that. And
they know you. If they don't know your name, they know who you are. They recognize you. And you chime into every conversation. The other day, I don't know what day it was, we were talking about wrestling, which I tend not to talk about. I'm not a wrestling fan. I'm not against it. But I'm not into it. I was into it when I was a kid. I love the old stuff like Macho Man, Hulk Hogan, Warrior, all that stuff. Now I can't watch it. It's one of those things where I just can't get into it. And I told someone it bothers me when they cover wrestling on ESPN now. And I'm not saying they're not athletes, because wrestlers are actually probably sometimes better athletes than the actual athletes playing the the organized sports. What bothers me is that wrestling is scripted.
Yes.
So the outcome is already put there.
But it's real to me.
No, and I know that it's you have to earn your way to the top.
Yeah, well, yes.
Which I get. I'm all for, and I respect that. But I don't like it when they talk to someone just hit the game-winning home run. What was it like? Oh my God, I couldn't believe I did this. And they talked about the guy who, picked up the fumble and brought it back to, upset, a major upset. They were favored to lose big time and they won, whatever. And then they go to the wrestling and they talk about it like, how can you believe you're here? Can you believe you won? And they talk about it like they just actually did it.
Yeah.
That bothers me. And again, if they're the champion or they're the winner, they earned it because of the way they can play the crowd and they went up the ranks. And I'm not taking that away, but I don't like it when they're still kind of in character when they talk about that. If you want to talk about the business aspect of it, I'm all for it.
That's kind of weird.
I don't like it when they interview them on real sports channels, in character.
Yeah.
And I know they have to be in character. I get that, but I was saying how it just kind of.
I didn't know they did that. I haven't seen that.
I was saying it bothers me. Not that they cover it. It's just
No, I agree. I mean, it's
different. It's entertainment.
Well, yeah, it is. It's like a TV show.
Yeah, it's like a TV show. It doesn't mean they're not athletes because they're ridiculous athletes, and they go through more stuff than anybody else does because these guys train and they're ridiculously in shape, and I respect them more than some real sports. They're just ridiculous athletes.
It's the athleticism. I mean, it's also a form of dancing in there because
you have to make sure you're doing it correctly.
Yeah, you have to do it properly so you don't hurt yourself, you don't hurt the other guy. And you have to be in the right place
you have to know how to
improvise
and keep it going. Mm-hmm. I get that. I understand that completely.
But again, I agree. I haven't seen this. I didn't know ESPN.
I hear. I don't know if it's ESPN in general. Or I don't like it being on.
Regular thing. I don't mind if within the context of WWE or whatever, they're interviewing.
Or if they have one of the wrestlers on a sports talk radio, that's fine. When they joke around and they talk about the business,
mm-hmm.
I don't care.
But once
I don't like it when they say, okay, in this match, this whatever, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna whatever. Again, it's just me. One of those things that. But anyways, the conversation came up. We were talking.
Mm-hmm.
Fred Steinberg, which is you've probably seen Fred. I love him to death. And Craig and us were all talking about that.
Yeah.
And another guy came in and he goes, hey, what were we talking about? He thought I was talking about WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm talking about this. And he goes, oh, I agree with you. He agreed with us. And he's like, he was a ref. He was actually a wrestling ref. And then the conversation really blossomed.
Yeah.
It was all the business aspect of back. And I love talking about that stuff.
Yeah.
Even though I don't follow it and I'm not into it, that was one of the best conversations we had. It was I was busy, but Craig and them were talking for a long time. It was really cool hearing the way things happen backstage and when it goes off script and how some wrestlers are better at being able to continue the story than the other one. Like if something happened for whatever reason, someone messed up or just something didn't work right.
Well, you can see it. It's like acting. Some people are good improv people and some people don't. They need the script, and once it goes, it's
really cool. So that's one of the best conversations. That's an awesome conversation that you can walk into and hear and see. It was really cool because you had a guy who's in it and he heard what I was saying and he agreed with me, and knew I wasn't saying anything bad about it. I was just saying listen, there's different thing. If you're talking to an actor, I don't want him to be in the character when I'm talking to you. You're an actor. What was it like to play this character? Oh, it's really cool. I had to train with this. But if he's talking like he's I'm like, no, you don't do that.
Just be yourself.
Be yourself. But I know in wrestling you can't necessarily always do that because you are portrayed as that character. I get that, but I don't like it when they talk to them or cover them like it's part of that world. But on the same breath, they're in a way better athletes than some of the athletes. So it's just, and I know it's changing. I know the world's changing, and I'm old school. Now they're covering the video games. The guys playing, but again, I understand that there's arenas that they're making and they're watching these things. So it's not something I'm into, but I get it. I respect it.
People want to do it. People want to watch it.
There's an age-old conversation that race car drivers aren't athletes or golfers. Yes, they are. There are certain. They might not be in the same category as like a sprinter or something like that, or someone who runs a marathon.
Well,
but
there's
still
competition.
It's still a competition. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It's a motor sport. Okay, just because there's not a ball or a stick involved, it's still a sport.
Just some are more athletic than others.
Yeah, but so what? Who cares? You could be, you could be the most fit athletic person in the world. If you get in a golf ball, it doesn't matter.
Well, that's the thing. Like some sports are more
it's skill.
It's skill. And then there's more athletic, like running. Like
that's, track and field is running, and it's different.
And the other I don't know if you. I'd always think of like darts. I mean, darts is really a sport,
skill.
But you have to be highly skilled to knock it every time.
I respect every one of it. I respect every one of them. Especially, I don't care what you do. I don't care if you're a curler, a wrestler, real or scripted, or a golfer or a NASCAR driver or Carl Lewis. You're all in the same thing. I get it. I respect all of it. So that's a lot of the conversation that you get involved in, as far as March Madness or fantasy sports. Like all that stuff does come up, and it's fun because you still get the people that, and they're not doing it to be mean or funny. They're just saying it like, oh, wow, especially like the older crowd will say, oh, wow, it's like the Big Bang Theory in here. Because to be fair, I mean, a lot of the guys roll their eyes like, oh, I haven't heard that before. Yeah. But you know what, to be fair, this mom, her kids weren't in the comics, okay? So if your child or someone you don't know wasn't in the comics, you might never have set foot in a comic book store. Like, if it wasn't from like my wife, my mom never went to the salon. I never was in a nail salon until I met my wife. So I can be like, oh, it's like watching this show where it takes place in a nail salon. So when you get somebody who comes in and looks around, the reason why they're saying it's like Big Bang Theory in here is because they recognized it and they're like, oh yeah, it's just like Big Bang Theory.
Well, I mean, you can't.
They're not saying it like they're not like, oh, look at these nerds. Well, but they're not saying. I
understand.
They're not talking down.
But the thing is too, like, I mean, of course you don't have it. I mean, we actually show a comic book store. You have Big Bang and you have The Simpsons, and I mean, that's the only ones I can think of where you actually at least kind of showed a comic book store.
A comic book man, but you kind of had to be in the comics to watch it.
I mean, that's kind of, yeah. That,
as far as...
like a mainstream show. Like that's like...
Lost Boys, they were in a comic shop.
Yeah. Well, I'm shows, but a movie. Yes, I mean, like, and, what do you call it? Unbreakable.
Yes. Roseanne, did ever go in the comic shop? I know he's in the comics.
I don't remember.
But it wasn't many.
Yeah. So
I do understand why they say, and Big Bang Theory is one of the biggest shows in television, so... I do understand why they say it, and I don't get mad at it. I mean, some of the guys are like, oh. Like, yeah, but it's... What else are they going to say?
No.
Oh, this place is neat. No, that's like, oh, like, wow, it's just like that. So,
but, I mean, like...
But you know what, though? What I like, though, is that when they're in there, they're automatically familiar with it. It's not like, oh, what is this? They go, oh, I know what this is. I see this every Thursday night. So, it's fine. You need that.
And it's... No matter... I mean... See, the only thing with it, they do make it... I mean, what's his face? Well, I can't remember his name. The guy that owns the store. Stewart. I mean, they make him so pathetic. And, like, I mean, like, I understand, like,
yeah, but
it's part of the show.
But I get like, that, but it's not really pathetic. I'm a comic book guy pathetic. It's just him.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're all into comics.
I guess so.
They're just nerdy. We're all nerdy. We're all nerdy in our own way. That's why it's what it is.
Well, that's one of those shows. It rubs both ways. Like they try, like it does kind of promote and everything, but a lot of times it is a stereotype about the comic book stuff and everything. I remember, I can't remember exactly what it was. The one where they were going to the Trekkie. They were going to a Trek convention and they got like robbed in the desert. And I remember there was something about it, and I'm sorry I can't remember the thing. And I was like, wow, this is like, it was so like stereotypical and horrible about like people that do the thing. And I was just like, I
get it, but it is a sitcom.
No, so. I know it's not changing the world, but it is a huge sitcom. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but it is a sitcom, so it's okay. I don't mind it. I mean, I don't care. I don't take much seriously.
I mean, like, I agree. I mean, I don't care what people think about. I like comic books. Yeah, I read comic books. You know what I mean? Like, I remember when I was first going with my wife, like, I said, you know what? I collect comic books. I collect this, I have this, and I was explaining. I said this thing. I mean, I don't care. If you don't like that, whatever, well,
yeah. I know too bad. Like, when I met my wife, I remember I never opened my closet for the first 6 months because that's where all my stuff was hiding. And I slowly took it out. I'm like, no, this is what I'm into. I'm like, I'm sorry.
I mean, now it's different. Like now it's so open, everything.
Cool
yeah, exactly.
Like they watch all the movies. They might not necessarily go into the comic, but they know all the characters.
But back in the day, it was still kind of like, you can't like comic books, or you can't like toys, or you can't like this. It's bad,
It's very. I mean, it happens a lot. You're in the guys are in our store with their kids, and their kids like, Dad, can we go? And it's like, really, you're in a comic book store, but the kid doesn't want to be there. The kid has no interest in it.
I know.
And I mean, it breaks my heart, but that's what they are. They want the Pokemon cards for a little while, and then it's like, okay, I'm done with this, and they're done. But some do stick around, which is cool, and it's exciting. I love seeing like when a kid is genuinely interested in something. It happened recently with the Spider-Verse movie. A lot of younger kids came in looking for like Miles Morales or Gwen Stacy, Spider-Gwen type stuff. So it was kind of cool. You could kind of feel it. It was good. And Walking Dead was obviously the biggest one to bring people in. And I know we did a podcast on before. Umbrella Academy could have brought things in. I still don't have the trades. It's been 2 months, but that's another topic. And if you want to listen to the podcast we did when the publisher dropped the ball, whatever it's called, it's
so when we do the repeat one, they'll still not be out.
I didn't realize when we did that podcast, and I brought up Watchmen, and I said, Watchmen, I think it came out in 2009. And I said, that day we recorded, the next day was the 10th anniversary of recent Watchmen. It was really weird because it was like we did it like on the 10th anniversary. It was kind of funny, and I didn't realize that until after. And maybe it might have been the same day. I think when I got home, I saw it online somewhere, but I was like, wow, I knew it was around then because I already knew my wife, and so it was at March, and because I remember we went to IMAX in the Palisades Mall to see it, so it was fun.
I mean, I never saw it.
You know what? It was good.
I mean, I read it, but
I don't remember. I remember. I read it in high school. I didn't like it. Just whatever. And I reread it like 5 or 6 years before the movie came out, and I was hooked on it. So I was just in a different mindset or whatever. I was pumped for the movie. The movie was very well done. The only thing I didn't like mostly about the movie, I think the movie was well done, but I think it's one of the movies I don't have a desire to watch it again. It's not that it was bad. It's like one of those things, okay, I saw that, I'm good. I appreciate it, but I didn't need to see it. It was the ending in the book. I know the squid is there, but the reason why the book is so impactful is because they just showed dead bodies hanging out of everything. Like, they're just hanging out of buildings, on the streets, everywhere. In the movie, it was basically like when Hal Jordan went crazy and blew up Coast City. It was just a big crater where the city was, which I'm sure if you drove up and you saw just a big hole where, massive hole where New York City was, you'd be like, but I think it just seemed more impactful to me just to see dead bodies everywhere. So it'd be like if I pulled around the corner to like a shopping plaza and the whole plaza was just decimated. It's like, oh my God, that's awful. But if I saw just bodies everywhere, I think it would be more like shocking because you can see people's faces and there's blood everywhere. There's women, children, men, all this stuff. That's the only thing I think the ending lost the impact to me. But on that, it was good. It was very good. But I just don't. It's like I don't know if I need to see it again though. It's not a knock on it, but I went to that Broadway play once. I'm not into Broadway plays, but the play was fun, and I don't need to see it again.
Well, I think as I've gotten older, there's a lot of movies I don't watch again. They're fine. I watched it, as opposed to if certain ones like if Caddyshack's on or
of course
or Casino or Goodfellas or something, like you could put it on and you just watch it.
It doesn't matter where it is. You have
exactly.
Even if you've seen it, you're like, crap, I have to watch it.
I'm gonna watch. Yeah.
You own it. You never put it in. But if it's
on
you
cable,
have to watch
exactly.
it. You're like, God, and you wait for the commercials. I'm like, why? I have the movie. But there's something about it just being on. You have to watch it,
But it's even like the new, like I saw, not that I think they're that great, but like the new Star Wars. I saw them in the theater, and that's it. But I could watch the other ones, not the original ones.
Yeah.
I could watch that. They're on, TNT, whoever plays it like on TBS a million times.
Yeah.
Oh, look, Empire's on. I guess I'll watch it again.
I do a lot of work from home, and I always make sure I put something on I've already seen because.
Well, yeah.
It's like my wife argues with me. I love baseball, and she's like, "But you don't watch it." I say, because you don't watch baseball.
Yeah, you listen to it.
Baseball is better being listened to. And secondly, you put baseball on, and you do something. You eat or whatever, read a book, and you here's the pitch. You look up, and strike one, and you look away, and you wait for the next pitch, and that's what it is. It's you just have to wait for that, and then you pay attention. Obviously, if something's happening, but 90% of the time, nothing's happening. They're just like that's why they fill it with talking. And I used to, for a long time, I would mute the TV and put the radio broadcast on a lot because the TV they don't say as much. The radio there's a lot of great conversations that would come up because they would have to talk. They're in a booth together doing like a 4-hour podcast, and that they would just talk a lot. And so I enjoyed it. So I always put on something I've already seen because I can't watch it because if I watch it, I'm not going to be able to really work. So I put on, like a lot of times it's Office, Seinfeld, or I just go to Netflix and put on something I've already seen.
Yeah.
And I'm lazy, so I just look. You could ask the guys at the store, they're like, you always have the same stations on when I come in here. I'm like, yeah, because I just turn on Spotify, and I pick one of the first there. I just hit click, because I don't want to put effort into it. I just want it to be on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's usually episode 8. I watched episode 8 over and over, and the new trailer just came out. So I sat down and watched episode 8 again while I was working. And then I found, I don't know if I brought it up on here, I was cleaning out one of my old closets, whatever, and going through stuff, and I forgot I had these. I can't watch the extended, updated versions of the original trilogy. They changed too much on it. And the reason why episode 4, I didn't mind so much because he just kind of added layers to things. He didn't really change things. He added a Jabba scene, which is really bad, but they did add it.
That's the least is Empire.
Okay.
They just put the window. I mean, they cleaned up the map, the boxing,
and the space
stuff.
scenes are ridiculously awesome. That's fine.
And Empire, they just added the windows to Bespin.
And the Wookiee, they added not Wookiee, the Wampa. They added
a little bit with the Wampa.
That's fine.
And then they added the Tatooine. They expanded and stuff like that.
But
and then
Jabba.
Yeah, the Jabba was
Jedi. It's not going to change anything really.
Yeah,
and they changed the entire Jabba's palace.
Yes.
Which was dark and dreary and like a really bad, like gross, like nightclub that's open until like 6 a.m. That's what it always felt like. And they made it like the Muppets. They changed the music. They added animal running around. It was like, I'm like, what is this? How did they? It's just my favorite part of all the movies. They completely changed it. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I only saw that once, and it was in the theater. That was it. I was so mad. So, but I had the original trilogy on widescreen VHS. Mm-hmm. If you remember, they came on the Darth Vader head. Yeah. The gold was regular, and the silver was widescreen. I had those. Of course, DVDs came out. They never released it on DVD. My friend Michael Kahn, who loved him to death, one of my best friends. He was my first friend when I moved from Massachusetts to the New York area. He was my first friend outside of work that I became friends with. A diehard Yankee fan, and we watched so many baseball games together. It was awesome. We went to every convention together. He passed away of leukemia when he was 33 years old, like in 2000. I think it was 2006. I don't remember because my mind won't let me remember when the date was because it still bothered me to this day. I don't remember when it was. I know it was in the summer, and I don't remember what year it was. Even though I probably looked it up 1,000 times, my mind won't let me remember it. So just besides the point. He, on the early days of eBay, he was able to buy DVDs of the original trilogy because in Japan they released them on Laserdisc. Laserdisc never really came here because, if you remember Laserdisc, it was about the size of a car. It was like bigger than a record. So everything was getting smaller. And Laserdiscs were massive, but they had such good quality. Someone over there burnt it, and he gave me copies on DVD of all the 3 movies. And I haven't. They were in a box. I think when I first started working at Zapp, I used to play them in the store, but I don't remember. But I found them. So I'm like, oh my god. So I put them on, and I was watching them with my son, and he loves R2-D2 and 3PO and Chewbacca. Now he's really into Darth Vader. So New Hope I put on for him because he loves them. And then Empire, and then, of course, Jedi I watched. So watching them, I'll put them on a lot when I work from home. Because I've seen them 1,000 times. I don't have to look at the TV. You just kind of like Seinfeld. I never have to look. Never even look at the screen when Seinfeld's. I know it word for word. Unless it's a super funny scene when you have to kind of see it when Kramer's doing something. I don't have to look up. I can just keep working on my books or make all the mystery boxes, whatever I'm doing at home. I that's why I do so much work at home. But so yeah, as far as the movie stuff, it's easy. That's why like I always watch the same thing over and over again because I'm like, oh, because in order for me to watch something new, I have to sit down
you have to watch
it, and you don't have when you have 2 kids and you own a business and you work like crazy hours, like which I'm not the only one who does this. Everybody else does it. So I'm not saying, oh, look at me, I'm busier than you. I'm not. Everybody else does it too. You have to be very picky and choosy. Picky and choose wisely your time. Mm-hmm. So if I have to set aside like 2 hours to watch a movie, I want to make sure I really want to watch it. So I'm not just going to watch a movie I don't care about. So I make sure it's a movie I really want to see. And it's usually really late at night because if it's not, I'm trying to be productive. Because to me, my wife's always like, you never sit down. You never relax. And it's not that I'm not relaxed. I just have to do something. Whether it's doing laundry or outside doing the yard or, whatever, being in the garage doing something or running around, like I have to move around. So for me to just sit down and watch a movie, it's kind of rare these days. So I really pick and choose what I watch. So that's why a lot of times you just keep watching the same thing over and over again. Everybody's like, oh, you don't watch anything new. I'm like, I can't. I don't want to. If I have a little window, what am I going to do? And I'm like, okay, I finally have some downtime. What am I going to do? Put something on that I'm not sure if I'm going to like or not. Or, you know what? I love this. I'll just put on something I love. That's how it is. I watched The Nun the other night. It wasn't. I love The Conjuring. and the second Annabelle was good. And The Nun, I'm like, okay, this is going to be spooky. It wasn't. It was never like, I was never tense watching it. It just didn't get me. It wasn't a bad movie. It just wasn't scary. And if you take the first 5 minutes of the film and the last minute and a half, that's all you needed to see. Yeah. So it's kind of like, okay, I'm right here. I just have to go through this door. But you're going to make me go all the way around this building and come back to the door again to open the door. I'm like, that's all that's in here. So it kind of felt like Al Capone's vault.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys remember late 80s? Mid 80s?
Mid 80s, yeah.
There was a whole big thing. Geraldo Rivera was doing it. They're going to open up Al Capone's vault. They did like a huge 2 or 3 hour special.
Yeah, it was live.
It was live. They did a whole backstory, and they opened the vault, and it was completely empty except for like a bar of soap. And it was embarrassing. And they did a live TV, so that's kind of what it felt like to me, watching this movie. So, but again, I'm like, really? I should have watched something else. So,
no, I know.
That's why I just, now that it's baseball season, I put on MLB Network every night. I just watch baseball. They randomly go back to baseball, put on the basketball and hockey playoffs. It's fun. This is the best time of year. I love it. There's always something going on.
So I just do the thing. I have the DVR and I have to catch up and stuff. And but I just watch it like Gotham. Like, I know everybody's like, oh, Gotham. Gotham is a bat crazy show. It has, yes, it has nothing to do with, it was supposed to be Batman, Bruce as a kid and everything like that. And this is just, every villain has come along, before he's even, 15.
This is the last season?
Yeah, this is, I think, either tomorrow is the penultimate episode. So there's only one episode left after this week. And Bane's there. Everybody's there. So it's but if you just put it in your head, this is like an alternate universe Batman Bruce thing, and it's just totally crazy. It's okay, but I do watch it in fast forward sometimes, and I just do it, and then okay, this looks interesting, and I stop it, and then I might fast forward, just like Flash, I do that sometimes too, because Flash is gonna do something stupid again. Oh,
Flash, I gave up on.
It still has its good, but
the first 2 seasons were fun. And then when I realized that they're going to make just everybody a speedster,
yes,
I'm like, it's what, really?
Well, at least last year was Thinker, so at least it wasn't the same thing. But I'm trying to think. Well, no, and this year it's Savitar, so it's not a speedster, but XS is in it, which is his daughter and stuff. Godspeed's in this week's.
I saw the image of it. Looks cool. Looks like him.
It's
a new character though, right?
It's from New 52.
52 Rebirth? Yeah. Rebirth? New 52?
Yeah. But he's kind of showed up in the new one. It's weird because it wasn't on because the Yankee game was on channel 11.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, I guess whatever. And then I read today or whatever. They're like, oh yeah, the new episode was on last night. I'm like, oh, I guess they just preempt it.
Okay.
Because normally it's on 8 o'clock, but the Yankee Red Sox game was on. So I'm like, oh, I'll just DV or whatever, demand it.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of times people are like, you don't watch anything. It's because I'm always in work mode. And people are like, oh, you should enjoy things. I do, because my job is basically a glorified hobby, so I'm doing what I love, so it's not like, okay, you're missing all this stuff because you're doing this. No, I'm swimming in it, so I'm swimming in comic books. Like, this is, people would love to do this, so I'm not missing anything. Trust me, I'm not. You know, is there a few movies I'd like to see in the theater? Yes, but it doesn't change my life if I don't see it in the theater. It really it doesn't matter to me. The only one I want to see this year in the theater, like just the movie I need to see, to see. Godzilla.
Yes.
Star Wars. And it. Those are the only movies I have to see these. Maybe Toy Story 4. I have to see these on the big screen.
Well, I mean, of all those, which I agree with
Godzilla.
You, but Godzilla,
I need to see this.
We saw
in IMAX.
We saw the Shazam film at the IMAX at Garden State, and they did the 5-minute preview of it, which I didn't know they were doing. Whatever, and I didn't see the first Godzilla. I saw the King Kong one, but this, oh my. It just blew you away. Yeah. Just like it was the King Ghidorah scene, and it's just so big and so loud,
it's like
and
rumbling,
it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, I tell everybody that too. IMAX, you don't go to IMAX for the view. You don't go to IMAX for the 3D glass or whatever. You go to IMAX for what it feels like, the sound, because that theater rumbles, and you can have a crystal clear screen anywhere, but the thing is when you look at it, you don't see the sides of the theater. You just see, your eyes are just showing you what's in front of you when it's the screen, and then it moves. I remember when I Am Legend came out. If you saw it in IMAX, you got a 5-minute preview of Dark Knight, Dark Knight, and they showed the whole bank robbing scene, and I remember being like, because I was like, oh, okay, that's cool, that's there, and all of a sudden you just, he's with a mask, and I killed a bus driver, whatever it was, the whole thing, and they all die. And he gets in the bus, and I'm like, and right when the buses pull away, it stops. I'm like, oh my god, that was like the coolest thing I've ever seen. And you watch I Am Legend, I'm like, what is this? But so yeah, to see certain things I need to see. Well, yeah, like I have to see it. It doesn't have to be opening night, but I have to see it. Star Wars, I'll try episode 9. I'll try to see opening night just because I wanted to see it fresh.
That's the other one too. Like you want to before everybody comes and says, "Oh,
Godzilla."
Whatever.
I don't care if it gets spoiled for me. I just want to see it. Like I want to see a monster movie.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, things are gonna blow crap up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah, it's that's
all these, creatures, and especially with the technology they have now. And the one I'm really looking forward to, it's on a personal note, is Detective Pikachu, because my daughter cannot wait to see this. And it looks funny.
Yeah, it looks fun.
I think I'll enjoy it, and I think it's gonna do really well. I think it's gonna open up the door to a lot of all these other type franchises. I know they're doing Sonic, which people are bashing, but you haven't seen it yet. Well, we just see pictures.
Well, pictures. That's the thing. It's context, but it does look kind of weird.
I'm sure it will be, but
it looked funny. Is the Dora movie? Before Shazam, they played a bunch of I guess kid sort of ones, and they played the thing for Dora. And you're like, oh, it's Dora the Explorer, but it's live action, and it was like, it looks kind of. I mean, it's sort of it's for kids, but it was funny. You know what I mean?
I'm sure my kids, especially my daughter, she watched a lot of TV, and the only shows I could not bear to watch, most of them I didn't mind. They were actually, some of them were kind of fun. Was Dora the Explorer, because it's so slow and boring and repetitive, and it's not. The music isn't fun in it. And like a Barney type show, they're awful. Everything else I didn't care. I didn't care what else she liked. She loved Yo Gabba Gabba, Sophia the First.
We were always in Bubble Guppies. That was huge.
She was into Bubble Guppies too. They weren't bad. Mm-hmm. They're like little 15-minute clips. It's not bad. But Dora the Explorer, I feel like it was in school.
But I mean, this is
no, I know it's different.
It's more like Indiana Jones.
But I do have a bad taste in my mouth because of that. No, I'm sure they got to make it fun. Like a lot of franchises, that's how they move up, and it's fine. But yeah, I think I haven't really looked at the schedule too much because I don't follow the movies like I used to. But I think if I had to, like, okay, you only pick in order of me picking them. As much as I love Star Wars and Episode 9, I think Godzilla would be the one I have to see in the theater.
Well, yeah, I mean just like I said, for that experience, I was, and it blew me away. I mean, I mean, to see those monsters on the screen, I was thinking about things to see. Like, I'm going to see it with my brother-in-law, Avengers, and I don't know. I'm gonna go see it, but I just don't. I don't care anymore.
You know what it is? People think, oh, you're just a hater or whatever. I'm not. Listen. Iron Man 1.
I loved all those movies.
And first Avengers, I love those movies. That first Avengers movie, I watched that. I haven't watched it too much recently, but I used to watch it over and over again. I loved that movie. The flow of it, the music, everything. I would just finally seeing these characters interact and battle. It was ridiculous. And Iron Man, which is cool, was a fun movie. I didn't like. I was very let down with Avengers 2. Thor, I'm not a fan, so I kind of fell off them. Guardians 1, like, I didn't hate it, but it didn't do anything for me. I saw it once, and I was like, all right, whatever. It kind of reminded me of Watchmen. I was done with it, whatever. So I just didn't care. I think if I had saw Infinity War in the theater, I might have enjoyed it more. I saw it at home, like on a random middle of the day. I didn't care at all in the first half because I had no connection, and I didn't care about any of the Guardians or Thor. That was like the whole first time. I didn't care. When they were on Titan and they were really like trying to like manipulate and like fight Thanos and distract him, that was awesome. That was really cool when they were about to get the glove off. That was really tense. That was kind of neat. And then when they went to Wakanda, I was like, all right, this isn't whatever. But when Thor came down, that was awesome. Okay. And then the snap happened. But maybe it's because I mean,
but it is. I mean, I remember those. Now that you're saying, like, I remember it in the theater with those, and the Wakanda scene was just like was awesome. Seeing that and all the things and stuff. And I guess it didn't make a big thing being in the theater.
I'm sure if I had seen it, I would have been more excited about it. But seeing the trailers, excuse me, for Endgame, it's almost like I have no connection with these characters because they're not mine. I mean, I'm not mine. It's not. This movie isn't for me, and it's fine. It's not for me. You have it. I want whoever has been. This is 10 years of movies. Yes, it is. It's 10 years of movies building up to this, and that's awesome. But it's like I haven't been reading 10 years of this story, so it's just kind of like, okay, how does it end? That's cool. Whatever. I'm more excited to see what's next. So that's my thing. People are always like, oh, I like it. What I'm like, no, it's not meant for me. I don't need it. It's for you. Enjoy it. I'm fine with it.
See, I was more. I mean, of the things that came out of that, like I was more excited with Shazam because it was. DC hasn't put out really much stuff. That worked.
Yeah.
And it was a different type of movie. There's so many different types of superhero stuff, and we're which was successful with the Marvel brand, but there's other ways to do it, you know what I mean? And it's just like, oh, it's another Marvel movie, you know what I mean? It's like I'm not bashing it. I mean, like, I haven't seen Captain Marvel, you know what I mean? I'll see it, just like I didn't see Ant-Man and Wasp until it came out on DVD or whatever, and I enjoyed it. I'll probably see Captain Marvel the same way when it comes out, whatever, but I didn't feel like I missed anything, it's the same kind of thing, and I think too is like being part of, we're comic book people. Like, you like Spider-Man, and it was fine.
I like the original Spider-Man.
Well, I mean, with the new one, the animated one.
No.
You didn't see the animated, the new one?
Spider-Verse?
Yeah.
I wasn't into it. I was very bored.
Oh, really? I was bored too. I mean,
you know what it was? This is the thing with Spider-Man, and people hated me that I didn't like this movie. It's not that I didn't like it. The animation isn't the animation that I like normally, but it's not bad animation, obviously. I like it when Spider-Man's story is simple. I like it when it's just a teenager gets bitten by a spider, And then all of a sudden he has to take on the world, and he's fighting all these weird villains, whatever, Scorpion and Green Goblins, his Harry, Norman, all this stuff like that. I like it like that. I don't like it when Spider-Man is a whole universe. I just don't. I don't like seeing 1,000 different Spider-Mans. I don't. I love Miles Morales' story, but I like it when it's like on its own in the Ultimate Universe. I don't like it when I see all these, like, I was there with my daughter, and Isabel was bored until she saw Penny Parker, and then she was like, this is awesome. I didn't like it. It felt like I was watching Iron Man when they go into the little shed in the back and it's all his armors. That's not Spider-Man to me. And that's the other thing too with Iron Man. The first comic book I ever like collected was Iron Man, but he had his suit like in his suitcase, briefcase, whatever. Yeah. And he had other armors, but it was it. But now it's almost like, okay, he's like just, it's different now. Listen, things evolve. That's fine. I like old school. I like the old school simplified Spider-Man universe. That's what I like.
I agree. I mean, I think my thing, like, we had the same thing. I went with my wife and my daughter. They were bored. They were bored.
I was very bored.
I was bored too. See, I saw it from my thing as like being a comic book person. Like, for a lot of people, like, the multiverse is a huge new thing. Oh my God, there can be multiple ones and it's all connected and stuff. As a comic book person, as you probably everybody out there knows, like, when you're like first introduced to us, about the multiverse. Flash 123. Where
Reverse Flash.
Julie Schwartz.
Jay Garrick.
Jay Garrick. Earth 1, Earth 2. That's when, and we know about multiverse and multiple Earths. Yes. So it's not a new concept for us. So
I always liked it that Spider-Man didn't have that.
Well, I don't have a problem with it, but I've read it a million times.
But I'm just saying, my Spider-Man, I like it when it's just down. I'm just Peter Parker. Look at me.
But like we said, I'm not bashing it, and I think it's fine. Like there's a lot of people who like it, and this is the first time they're exposed to it, and they enjoy it. For me, I was bored by it because, again, I knew about it, and it's not a new story.
To me, what was new was Black Panther. I was never into the Avengers as a kid. I didn't care about them. I thought Black Panther's costume was super cool. I always looked at the Kirby stuff, but I never read it. I thought he was like a really cool looking character. I was never really into him. And when the movie came out, that was one of them. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
No, it was a good movie.
It was awesome. And he's one of my favorite movie characters now. And I pay attention to him in the books, which is cool. But if it wasn't for the movie, I would never really went to him as much. But I thought he was cool looking. And I was in FF, like he was in there too. But I don't know, maybe this didn't use him right at the time. But like Black Panther is, again, he had his own thing. He was in his own country, like his civilization and like whatever. I like how that came out. Like it's different. It was a different feel to it. But so to me, that's how Black Panther should feel, like that. Spider-Man has a certain feel to me, like Thor. Thor's boring to me. He always has been. I love the old Kirby art. It's awesome, but I have never had any interest in Thor. He's boring. So watching the movie, I was like, okay, it's okay. And I only saw the first one, but I was bored because I don't care about the character. You know what I mean? Spider-Man, I basically just care about Peter Parker. I don't care about... Spider-Man 29 has got a cool costume, but I don't care. Penny Parker, I thought she was cute in the movie, but then I saw in the book she was very, very different. Like Spider-Gwen, I love Gwen Stacy, but I don't know if I like her as Spider-Gwen. So, again, all the points that people said they love the movie, I said I get that, but that's for you. It's not for me. Like my Ninja Turtles are the black and white ones. They're gritty, not the cartoony ones. But that was for me. Our G.I. Joe is the little tiny 3 3/4 colorful ones, not everything else. It's just not. It's not mine.
It's funny you were talking about that. I had gotten a book and I completely forgot about it. It's about G.I. Joe, and it was essays by people, like their memories of G.I. Joe and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, thing. And there's definitely stuff about like from our 3 3/4. But it's hilarious. Not hilarious, but like they were talking about like there's a lot of them that are about the 12-inch, whatever, the doll ones.
See, to me they were dolls.
And they were like, and I was just like, and they're like, oh yeah, and the 3, nothing, I think, like again, when I had no idea, when it came out when we were kids, that was all was there. That was so long gone.
Yeah, that was long gone.
Yeah,
because that was late 60s, early 70s.
Into early 70s, yeah.
In the 70s, it became like comical with like the.
Well, it became more like action guy,
like
you know, like he would instead of
like a true soldier.
Yeah.
Which happened with the 3 3/4 too. The first few lines were very just soldiers.
Well, yeah.
And then they became like, you know.
Well, they had more. Well, they had to come up with different characters.
Colorful,
yeah,
you know,
well, they had to do
but
different
that's
stuff.
What we liked, you know, and that's what I was into. To me, if you gave me a 12-inch figure, I'm like, it's a doll. You know, I don't want to.
Well, yeah, there was nothing.
Play with dolls.
That's the thing. Like when we were growing up, well, Star Wars started with the 3 3/4, and pretty much everything was 3 3/4. I mean, it changed because like He-Man was like 5 inches, right?
The Thundercats were around.
Thundercats were a little bit taller. Right? They were like I guess 6 7. Those were the tallest ones, but there was never like.
And Transformers were
all over the place, yeah. And like now it's like, and then for some reason it evolved into like the 6-inch scale, and I guess
I think it's because the articulation.
Yeah, I guess so.
The detail. Like we weren't really super. We wanted the accessories.
Well, yeah. Well, that was the whole thing.
The generation after us still did. We know with the Turtles and the Power Rangers.
Yeah.
But generation after that didn't.
Yeah,
they were collectors, and they wanted the articulation and the packaging design and stuff like that. So
that's what I could never understand, because with the 3 3/4, you can do so much more. You can have so many more as opposed to like a 6-inch. You know what I mean? And you could do, you know, but it's dead. I mean, it's dead. It like Star Wars still does some. They have the vintage line, and
it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not. It's very.
It's not the same.
There's no more.
I worked at Toys R Us from 1994 to 2005. And all the best years we ever had was Star Wars. Because when there was a Star Wars line, you knew there was waves and waves and waves of figures, vehicles, exclusives, 12-inch figures, everything. And it just went away. Now it's just like very limited releases, and the quality isn't there anymore.
I mean, they have the I guess it's Resistance. I'm sorry, it's the new cartoon. I don't. You know what?
Resistance, yeah.
It's weird.
I haven't watched it yet. But I know.
I haven't.
I will watch it though.
When I was a kid, I would have killed to see a Star Wars cartoon. And I can't.
A good one.
Well, yeah. Well, what?
The droids wasn't very good.
Oh no, you're right. Droids and Ewoks weren't good. I remember.
They weren't good.
No,
but then again, all the cartoons when we were kids, I know. Looking back, I know when we were kids they were good. When you look back, they're not. Good.
No, they're not.
They're not good. They were commercials.
I mean,
but like if you look at the ones now, like Rebels or Clone Wars, they have a nice continuing story. It's really good. There's a big payoff at the end.
Well, yeah. Well, yes. I mean, I just can't get into them.
Which is fine.
Can't. Well, exactly. It's not. You know. If it's not for me, it's not for me. You know. It's fine. You know. I mean, but I was thinking about this the other day because I'm like, when I was a kid, I would like to watch this. I'd be like, I'd be so into it.
That's why I'm so excited for the streaming service. I cannot wait to watch Mandalorian because it's going to be awesome.
I haven't seen the preview for it, so
I can't wait to see that. I cannot wait to watch that. You know, it's going to be great. So I'll watch that, over and over again. I know I will. I know you're not a Boba Fett fan. I mean, he's not a Mandalorian. He just has a Mandalorian armor on.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not a big.
So
they have the other IG 11.
IG 11, yeah.
So people are complaining about it.
Yeah, but there's more than one.
Who cares?
Like, who cares?
No.
You know how many droids? How many times you see an R2 unit? It's not it was R2D2.
Well, no, it was
whatever they're called.
It was the one I saw complaining about. Like, oh, it's just IG. It's not important. It's just another stupid thing. I'm like, who cares? Like, who cares if it had a backstory? Because there's the IG-88. There was the 4 of them, and they do also
the Bespin and all
yeah. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? It's part of the thing. If you don't like it, don't read it. Or don't. You could do whatever you want.
An entire galaxy of characters. So relax. Stop being so angry. Stop. Because when I do give you exactly what you want, you're still like, this is awful. I'm like, this is exactly what you just asked me. I just made the cake you told me to make. That's not what I asked for. Yes, it is. It looked just like the picture, and I gave it... No.
We wanted it this way.
Yeah, it's like...
Well, you know what the thing is? Like, we were talking about the other day when they were doing the other... with episode 9 and people complaining. And then we said, with the problem with when Lucas did the first ones, because the first 3, I guess I call them,
4, 5, and 6. 4, 5, and 6.
We're so open.
Yeah, it was just like...
anything can happen.
Tell the story, you're just running around.
Exactly.
This is good guys, bad guys.
And the Jedi could have been anything. You knew whatever. They were space knights and whatever, and they did these stuff and everything. And then when episode 1 came, all the rules came. Lucas put all these rules on the Jedi and how everything runs, and with the Sith, and from being wide open, it became this narrow little thing. And especially too, like instead of like when doing as a kid for Darth Vader, for Anakin, like instead of being like an adult, where that would have been a perfect place to introduce. With a kid, you narrow it because you see where he came from, and it didn't make it better for us. We didn't make more,
Nobody needs to see a kid.
No.
Like, if you do a backstory on anybody, any famous person, you just kind of touch base on their childhood. You don't sit there and say, okay, here's a movie based on Elvis when he's 6. You don't do that. It's boring. He's a kid. He's a kid. You can show, like, little glimpses, like, oh, he did this, and did this, little milestones. That's fine. But you don't just, oh, here's a 2-hour movie on Elvis at 11 and a half.
Well, it's like the Gotham. You know what I mean? Yes, he's affected. His parents got killed. You know what I mean? But like, it takes him he goes to school and he leaves and he does all this training before he becomes Batman. It doesn't all happen then as a kid. Yes, it happened when he was a kid, but you don't want to watch that show. That's why they did all this other stuff, because it's boring.
It doesn't work. It's just boring. It's boring. So, and before we sign off, I have started doing something that I never thought I'd ever do. I actually listen to a podcast and listen to it regularly. On Monday nights, I work really late at the store to get the wall ready for Tuesday. And I used to go in early Tuesday mornings, but my kids have school, so I don't get to see them, so I make sure I'm there every morning to get them ready for school, help my wife and everything, and put them on the buses and stuff. Excuse me. So I go in Monday night late and I work, and I'm getting tired of music. I listen to the same stuff and nothing new that's coming out is any good, so whatever. So Conan O'Brien has a podcast called Conan Needs a Friend, and they release it on Mondays, and he just sits down for like an hour or so with a friend of his, and it's usually like Jeff Goldblum or what's his name,
Patton Oswalt,
or Ray Romano, and I think Will Ferrell and Dana Carvey, all these people, and it's fun because he's just like, I like it because I don't feel like he's interviewing somebody, which most podcasts are, or it's the same people over and over again, like how we do it. I like it how it's just like two guys, BSing, and a lot of times they just BS. They don't even get to talk what they're talking about. They're just BSing. It's very enjoyable, and I do like it. If anybody else has any suggestions of something similar to that, send them my way. A lot of people are like, oh, you like this, and I look at it. I'm not gonna listen to it. I can't. It's just not. I can't listen to 5 or 6 people like whatever. I just need a very nice little conversation. Join it. So, but yeah. So I'm sorry Joe's not here. I did miss him. His deep laugh over there, and worry about the chair like breaking. These chairs are pretty. They move when I sit down. So.
Yeah, they're rocking.
They're rocking. This is Dave Potosnak's old family table. Dave has his own podcast, Calling Out Creeps. It's on all the R.L. Stine Goosebumps books. He does with his buddy Matt Ryan. Not the quarterback for the Falcons, but Matt Ryan. So that's cool. So Dave, we love you. And that's it. So again, Free Comic Day is coming up May 4th. Mm-hmm. Not just at Zapp, at every comic book store. So if you do go to, some people hit multiple stores, which is cool. I get it. Again, just show your support. Again, just buy a pack of candy or something. Like not a pack of candy.
You have candy?
A pack of, some stores have candy at the registers. We don't. We used to. But, if you're in the mall or something, anyways, support your stores, whether it's free coffee day, free waffle day somewhere, free empanada day, whatever it is, don't just go and load up because it costs these people money. Leave them a $5 tip in the jar. Give them something as a thank you, because these guys are working like crazy to make this day go smooth, because it's usually crazy busy.
Yes.
So you'll see Zapp. We open up at 8 a.m. The line starts around 5:36, and it's pretty nuts. I mean, it's controlled chaos, but it is pretty nuts. So we have to cap the line every so often to get people out of the store. So it's a lot of fun. So you have anybody, any shout-outs, any thank yous? You're just going to go,
no, I have nothing.
I'm Johnny, no.
I should actually be there for Free Comic Book Day.
That's what you tell us. Johnny always miraculously has something come up when we need him. He's the first one to volunteer, but he's also the first one to cancel.
No, hey.
No, that's Alex Noble's job. Alex, I love you, but he does do that. But so that's it. So for Johnny Knoll, this is Corey Brown. This has been the Zapp Comics Radio Podcast, of course, brought to you by Zapp Comics. We are powered by Libsyn. So you can find us on Spotify now, which is really, really neat. We're on iTunes, everywhere else, Facebook. I always push it on Instagram. So again, and Josh Ulick, thank you again for being cool. I appreciate it. So that's it. We'll see you. Bye, everybody.